Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today we are trying a bit of an experimental recipe, which just means we've never actually done this one before, but we thought we'd film it for you, and if it turns out terribly, we'll let you know, or we won't post this. So to get started with, I guess I should introduce what we're actually doing. We're going to be making hush puppies. So to get started with, we're going to combine all of our dry ingredients, and then we're going to combine all of our wet ingredients, and then combine them in this bowl. And so I am going to get started with the cornmeal, which is going to make up most of our dry ingredients. And that's going to be 1 cup of cornmeal. And then we're going to do 1/4 cup of flour, and then we are going to do 2 teaspoons of sugar. And our next ingredient is we're going to be doing 1/4 teaspoon, the wee little baby one, of baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So you're using both in this recipe, baking soda and baking powder. And then we're going to go ahead and come in with some seasonings. So we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of table salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to give it just a little bit more. And 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. This is dark chili powder. Just to give it a little bit of a kick on the back end. Now whisk this together so that everything combines really well. Not too concerned about the lumps in the flour as much as I am just making sure everything actually gets combined and it's cohesive. And that looks pretty good. I'm gonna be weird and smell this. It smells like it's got the chili in it. And then we're gonna go ahead and combine our wet ingredients, which are 1 egg slightly beaten. And what?
That's when we get off work, we're slightly beaten.
And then we're going to add 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Or if you don't have buttermilk on hand, you can just do milk and a little bit of vinegar, white vinegar. Couldn't think. So we're going to mix these together. And that looks pretty well combined. Honey, I completely forgot to get a spatula. Would you mind getting me a spatula? I think you might be tilting you down a little bit. Hi, guys. Okay, so I'm going to add the egg and milk in here. And there is one more ingredient, but I'm going to go ahead and combine this first before we add that other one in. And per the recipe, it should be just like not over combined, but obviously you want to make sure that if you've got dry cornmeal on the bottom, you're getting that in. So I would definitely say it's looking like the right texture. And our last ingredient is a small, finely chopped onion, which goes in here. And if you don't have that, then I would recommend just using some onion powder. That onion might not have been small.
That was a lot of onion.
That was a lot of onion. We'll find out if that was too much onion.
I do like onion. We'll see how much.
Okay, now the fun part, I say fun with adequate fear,
Dun, dun.
So we've got oil over here that's already been heated to 375 degrees, which is supposedly the correct. Do you think I should use the big one or the small one?
Big one.
Big one.
Big one. Big one.
Okay, supposedly this is the correct temperature. I completely forgot to check and see how long we're actually supposed to leave these in the oil. So we'll find out. Okay. It's not staying together very well.
Uh-oh. I guess we'll just have fragments.
Possibly.
That's okay.
Well, it's kind of glooped together.
Maybe when they make the batter, they like put it in the fridge like to harden up.
Well, I thought so. Like, my instinct was that it should be put in the fridge, but according to the recipes I was looking at, no.
Looks good.
So we're gonna let these sit in here for a little while. Whenever you're frying something, you probably already know this, but when you're frying something, once you put one thing down in the oil, it cools the oil off a little bit. So if you continue to put things in there, it's not staying at the same temperature. Also, if you put more things in there, they can kind of get conjoined, which we don't really want. So that's why I only did 3. We'll have you come back as we're pulling these out and you can have a look and we'll see what they look like.
Hello, welcome back. I'm doing this part, so if I get hurt, it's okay. I don't want my wife to get hurt, but me it's fine, because I'll heal. So, these are looking very good. You don't want to leave them in there too long, because they'll burn.
How long would you say we've had them in there for? Not very long at all, really.
No.
Maybe 2 minutes?
Yeah, not very long, but I think they will be good. Like, I hope they're not mush on the inside. We've never done this. So.
Well, I mean, Hushpuppies are supposed to... You mean undone?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Well, we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the mix in the oil little by little. And then by that time, hopefully these guys will be cool enough that we can test one.
Yeah.
And let you know if it's terrible or not.
Yeah, my first instinct is just to grab one of those and bite into it. But
Don't do that.
You will burn your tongue, I have learned.
All right, guys, we will be back shortly. Hi, guys, welcome back. So here are our finished Hushpuppies. Nathan, how long did we end up cooking these for?
3 minutes.
Okay, so he actually paid attention to the time, unlike what I normally do. So 3 minutes, and this is the interior. I would say, now, for one thing, don't bite into them right when you take them out of the oil, because obviously hot. But aside from that, you want to give it some time to let the interior finish cooking if it hasn't already. So you want to let that, just kind of firm up a little bit, just like when you take bread out of the oven and the inside's still a little bit doughy, but if you leave it alone, it'll come to the right temperature. What I would say is next time I would not put in as much onion. Excuse me. I would not put in quite as much onion. I would probably do about half of the amount that I did, so half of an onion as opposed to a whole onion. Absolutely no more chili powder than what I added in there. It is not super spicy when you bite into it, but on the back end you can definitely get that heat from there. And then just one other recommendation that I would make is that I would also recommend getting the finest cornmeal that you can. The cornmeal that I had was a little bit more substancy, I guess, than I would prefer, meaning it just kind of has a little bit more chew, a little bit more of a granular texture than I would prefer. So I would go with a fine ground cornmeal if you can find it. But otherwise, these aren't too bad. I would maybe tweak the recipe just a little bit, but they're pretty good. So not too bad for a first attempt.